Today, I'm going to explain why the Angel Reese, Sandy Brondello situation is crazy. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why I'm not accepting Brondello's apology at this time. I'm not. People automatically think because someone issues an apology, you should have to accept it. I'm going to call BS on that, and I'm going to tell you why. So first, let me tell you what happened. During the Toronto Tempo versus Atlanta Dream game on the 18th, Tempo's Nayara Sabali left the game with a rib injury after fouling Reese on an offensive rebound. As officials reviewed the call, Brondello, frustrated with the officiating, was picked up on mic yelling, "Angel, she's a protected species." Now, Reese initially responded on X with, "Are we surprised?" and a clown emoji, tagging Brondello after a fan posted and framed it as calling a black woman a species. The WNBA suspended Brondello 1 game without pay for the inappropriate comment to be served against Las Vegas Aces. Now, Brondello posted an apology the next morning, and this is what she said. "I used a phrase that I shouldn't have used. My frustration was with the officiating, but my words unfairly put the focus on you."
I wanted to put that out as soon as I woke up, and I reached out to the GM and asked him to speak to Angel because she doesn't really know me very well. I have a ton of respect for her, but I wanted to make sure that it was an emotional statement, and it's a statement that's it's very common in Australia, and it wasn't directed at Angel. I never do that to any kind of player. That's not the kind of coach I am or a player back in my day, and it was just unfortunate. So, I was pretty emotional with Nayara, her being injured again, and I made a comment that it's that Australians, we say all the time, and unfortunately I should have, took a breath and realised where I am like in America, because I know racism is such a big issue here. But hopefully, I've been in this league for 27 years, and I have never had any issues like this because, these are all my teammates, and I've learned so much from the black players that I've coached and that I've had on staff, and I know I'm not racist, so it's a really unfortunate situation. So, but I really, I wanted to apologise whenever Angel's ready. I have, reached out to their organisation and very sincere because I never want that to happen to anyone. It's so much in this WNBA, and I felt mad at myself because I'm a part of the solution, not the problem. I did make a mistake, and it's I'll try and keep my Australian thing, Australianisms, I suppose, out, but it was never meant to be personal. So I am truly sorry, and hopefully she's doing okay.
People from other countries convince themselves their culture isn't racist because it's normal where they're from. We say it all the time. That's just an Australianism. But when they're called out for it in America, they downplay the slur or the language and chalk it up to the culture like that makes it acceptable. Here's the thing. Normalizing something in your own country doesn't make it not racist. It just means your culture has a blind spot it's never been forced to confront. Racism doesn't stop being racism because you get called out for it once you leave home. Reese responded Sunday that she appreciated the apology and was grateful the league didn't take action, explicitly framing it as, quote, "no place for discrimination or hate in this league from anyone."
Hello everyone, I'm sure everyone knows about the situation that happened last game, and I'm going to address this one time. First, I appreciate Sandy's apology, but also appreciate the love and support that I have had for the last 48 hours. It has been very overwhelming with a lot of love and also other things, but I am grateful that the league did take action on what the situation had happened. There's no place for discrimination or hate in this league from anyone, from fans to coaches to players. And I'm just grateful that we are able to move on from the situation and just play winning basketball. The WNBA is supposed to be positive, and we are going in a great light right now. So I just want to continue that and move forward.
But I did a segment in February about the Obamas. And the video was called Why Racists Call the Obamas Apes. And it explained the history of this racist trope of making black people seem animalistic, right? Less than human. And it's such an inflammatory way to try to describe people. And we had someone recently, a WWE entertainer, who had something also negative to say about Michelle Obama. So when I hear Brondello say something like species, I take issue with it, and I don't accept her apology. I don't accept it because of what I just said. The playing into the historical trope used to characterize black people as animals. She was suspended for one game. I feel like she should have been suspended without pay for more. Number two, the majority of players in the WNBA have historically been black. If you have a problem with the racial makeup of the league, leave it. Leave it. You can't change the history of the league. That's what I feel about Brondello. And number three, the other part of it is that we look at coaches to be leaders. Letting something slip like that means you're not a leader at all. And who knows what she is actually saying at home? Is this the type of person you want to represent, players in a league that was built on the backs of predominantly black women? So those are the things. She would have to show me something different for me to essentially believe her. And the other thing, if I can go back to the top point, is when I set up this story, I said that Tempo's Nayara Sabali left the game with a rib injury after fouling Reese. Not that Reese fouled her, she fouled Reese on an offensive rebound. So again, for you to say, Angel, she's a protected species, Angel didn't foul the person. Angel didn't do anything wrong, but it was in your mind, it was in your spirit, and obviously it was out of your mouth to try to call somebody out their name. To me, it's simply not worth accepting her apology. Black women, we are used to being the bigger person when somebody throws dirt on us. And a lot of what she said was very classy, but I just wish we didn't have to always be the classy ones or the bigger person. If you're the one throwing dirt, why don't you be the bigger person and stop throwing dirt? So let me know, what do you think about Brondello? Was this the heat of the moment, or was something deeper stirring? Let me know how you guys think about that. Thank you so much. Peace. See you next time.